Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Nah, mm, nah.
What is he doing? Driving? He's driving, huh?
I don't know. The nigga
Man, you
somewhere
can't be driving and doing all this shit.
he's somewhere he shouldn't be. Nah, we can't
Pull
hear
over
nothing.
somewhere.
You sound like a walk.
All right.
Nah, there's no way we can hear that. All right. All right, we got Drew Titan coming in. All right, we got Drew Titan. All right, go ahead, Drew. It's on you, man.
I promise to be respectful, Fred.
Okay.
I promise.
Okay. Please do.
Officer,
Please do.
Officer Hill, how are you, brother? You good?
Hello? How you doing?
How you doing? You can hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Yep.
All right. What is the worst case of cheating that you ever seen in the sport? Other than what we are alleging.
I would say the worst case of cheating that I've seen, I would, or know about would be, I guess, was it? I don't want to get it there. It was in Panama. They took the hair out the gloves out the hair out the gloves. That's an older fight back in the day. And then I guess with
You're talking about Louis Resto.
Yeah.
Talking about Louis Resto and Panama Lewis.
Yeah.
Louis Resto lives right here in the Bronx. I see him sometimes. Do you agree with that penalty that they served Panama Lewis and Louis Resto? You know, Louis Resto did some jail time behind that.
I don't know. I haven't really gave too much thought about it, but I do believe it's very, very serious. An offense like that. I guess it would be the same way as if you were a hockey player and you had your skates and then you had your blade sharp like a knife and you cut somebody across the face with a throat or something, stuffed them in the throat. At that point, it turns into, I believe it would have to turn into a criminal offense.
Criminal offense.
Yeah, at that point, I think it would have to turn into a criminal offense because as a weapon being used. But at the same time, for boxing to take to have somebody fight at such an unfair disadvantage, it has to be looked at as a serious matter. People are losing their lives in boxing. With and it's been this way for years, but it's just, I guess, just a recent. It happened a little bit more where fighters are getting injured, a lot more serious. And I'm not sure how much it happened back in the days because of now everything is social media and we get access to a lot more things than it was back in those days when I guess they probably just only published or published what they wanted to publish. But now everybody has the free right to publish things that maybe the big papers and media people don't want to publish. So, yeah, I mean, I believe it has to be some kind of other measures taken so these kind of things don't happen. I believe that because this is a fair sport. It's not out here in the streets or anything like that. It's supposed to be a fair. It's a sport, and it's supposed to be fair. And the number one thing in the sport is supposed to be for the fighter's safety. So, yeah, if it's some kind of big illegal cheating and stuff like that, I think it should be punished some kind of way. I can't say exactly what, but it should be some kind of punishment for that.
All right, so it should be a fair sport. We agree on that. It should be a fair sport. Rabbit punches and shit like that. Fred, I got somebody in your private chat talking to me. But I don't know what the fuck that's about. But I ain't the one. Anyway, I'll screenshot that and send it to you later. But anyway, do you have any thoughts on Nicholas Asbury? Are you familiar with his findings? I'm not going to call them allegations because they were findings. Are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not familiar with it. I think I just heard about it. I think earlier on the show somebody mentioned the name.
All right, I'll let you research that. All right, if you care to. Nicholas Asbury. Nicholas Asbury. There's video proof of it's not allegations. There's video proof of what he found when he was in Fury's camp. By the way, before I go any further, Fred, there's somebody in your private chat saying that Tyson Fury just said Drew Titan is going to end up like Jimmy Hoffa, you and Tate Jones. So this is the type of shit we deal with. While I'm talking boxing, I deal with shit like this. So it's nothing. I'm in the fucking Bronx. You can find me. Bronx on deck. Come in here if you like. Ain't gonna end well for you. All right. So anyway, Suge. Yeah, I'm fucking with the wrong crew. Eat a dick. Anyway, Suge. You were rapping the hands. Was the commission in the room when you was rapping the hands?
I wrap the hands in the presence. The commissioner's sitting there and JD's are sitting there while I'm wrapping the hands. But as I stated earlier, when I wrap hands, I have 4 galls and 2 tapes, 2 rolls of tape. I give those 4 galls to the commission and the tape, and after that, I give them to whoever is the person representing the other fighter, and they get to hold them and touch them. Then I make the pads, and then I wrap them. That's what I always do.
All right, so you hear all of us talking about the cameras being unplugged and all of that stuff. You don't know nothing about that because you was busy wrapping your guys' hands. So let me ask you a question. Granted, Tyson Fury's history of being a cheater, because he's a cheater. Never mind the cocaine, he popped dirty PEDs. He has this thing with Mark Carefoot or whatever the fuck's going on. All right, all of that is real. All right. Do you think that the supporters of the sport, you just mentioned fairness, do you think that we have reasonable cause to believe that there was some funny stuff going on? Granted, after the second fight, we all went back and looked at the first fight and saw his glove doing the Macarena, which is not normal. And before you answer that, have you ever looked at tape of his old fights? Was his glove doing that in any of his old fights? Because I don't recall. It's a 2-part question.
I saw the fight. I saw where they posted the glove from the first fight when he was throwing punches and things like that. From my experience with Tyson Fury and training him, and that was one of the things that I worked on was him punching properly. And to my knowledge and experience, Tyson Fury he wasn't punching properly. I don't let fighters punch like that, and that's something that I discussed earlier as well. In the amateur boxing, I don't know if you remember, but amateur boxing gloves had a white stripe across the knuckles, a white patch.
Yeah.
And that's how you scored a point. So in amateur boxing, they started teaching you how to punch properly. If they're supposed to teach you how to punch properly, you would get a point takeaway if you were slapping. I never let my fighters punch improperly because that's what Emmanuel taught me. Make sure they punch on the knuckles because they're going to be more effective punching on the knuckles like they're supposed to do than slapping.
All right, let me ask you a question. Okay, so have you ever reviewed old video of him fighting prior to you training him?
Nope.
So you can't confirm whether he's been punching like that his entire career?
I'm sure he had. I think I saw Steve Cunningham. He throws punches so fast. I mean, I know he's not punching properly because he should have been getting more knockouts, but I know he wasn't punching properly. I didn't study his old fights to say, oh, look, he's doing this in this fight and that fight. But I do know he's been punching improperly, yeah. Okay, so you was with him in Wilder 1 in the 2 fights he had in between. You wasn't with him in the 2 fights in between? I was only worked with Tyson Fury on Tyson Fury Wilder 2.
Okay, so did you see his previous fights after Wilder 1?
Yeah, I saw he fought Swartz and then the guy that had him all bloody up, the guy who cut his eye and stuff. Wallen.
Okay, Otto Wallen. All right, Swartz and Wallen. So you saw those fights?
Yeah.
He wasn't punching like that.
He wasn't punching like how I have him punching now. I didn't like the way he was punching for those 2 fights.
So he wasn't punching like that after you got a hold of him?
Yeah, I changed his punching, yeah.
You changed his punching? All right. But you just said you never saw him fight prior to you getting a hold of him.
But you asked me did I see those 2 fights. I saw those 2 fights.
Now, actually, if you ever saw him fight prior to you getting a hold of him, not only those 2 fights, I'm talking about everything prior to that.
Oh, I saw those fights, yeah, during the training camp. I did see those fights.
Okay, so you saw him fight Klitschko. For example, you saw him fight Vladimir Klitschko. You saw the Klitschko fight at all?
As a matter of fact, I did see that fight.
Okay, so was he slapping in that fight?
Most likely, yeah. He wasn't punching hard.
Okay. All right. the injuries to Deontay Wilder's head, are they consistent with boxing? Because I've never seen that before.
So for me to answer that question, I'm not sure. I'm assuming that's the same place he got punched at. And from my readings, because I'm not a part of that team, so I don't know. He went to the doctor, and the doctor said it was an object and things like that. So I can't be the one to dispute what the doctor's saying about that. I don't know if it was from that fight. When did he go to the doctor? I mean, there's a lot of things I don't know, but it could have been from that fight. Don't know if it was from that one punch where he got knocked down, because
the knockdown.
The fight went 7 rounds, so it wouldn't be fair for me to say, okay, it was from that punch or whatever. But yeah, I don't know if it was even from. I'm not a doctor to say it was a blunt object.
Well, it couldn't have been a knockdown because it was a trip and it was off of a body shot, so it could have been off the knockdown. I do recall if you go back and watch it, there's a lot of wrist strikes, which are illegal, by the way. There's a lot of wrist strikes, a lot of them. I don't know if you've watched it because celebrate your win, but based off of what I've seen, and the only reason why I paid attention to it because let me tell you about me. I didn't want to make excuses. All right, it took me 7 days to go rewatch it because people reached out to me and asked me to rewatch it, and I was never pro, but I know my way around the ring, and I know some things. And what I saw was abnormal. It was abnormal. Wrist strikes is abnormal, brother. Wrist strikes are abnormal. And then that made me go back to the first fight. Nothing changed. Actually, when he was coming out of the locker room in the first fight, he's coming out, he does this. I see his knuckles in the wrist of the glove. That's not normal. Now, let me tell you a story. I've shared this countless times, and I'm going to share it with you. Back in the 80s, I'm hitting the bag in the gym. Trainer comes up, says, "Let me show you something, kid." Yanks my glove down. My fist is now on the wrist. He says, "Hit the bag." I hit it with a hook. I said, "This ain't comfortable." He said, "Hit it again." I hit it with another hook. I said, "This ain't comfortable." Trainer says to me, "You could really fuck somebody up with this." And I said, "Well, it's not comfortable, and I don't have enough malice in me to fight like this." "It ain't that cheating, coach?" He said, "It's cheating if you get caught." Now, we spoke to a few fighters. Yeah, this is a true story. We spoke to a few fighters that said that that's something that's practiced. Steve Cunningham said that's something that's practiced. And it's just weird how he got with you, and all of a sudden he's not condensing people's head. Now, you don't know about the camera. You were there for the hand wraps. And you check the gloves. And you say you have the gloves. Bob Arum didn't know where the gloves were. Now we know where the gloves are. I've seen the gloves, I've seen how they look. I've seen the still shots. There's nothing normal about those gloves. They're supposed to weigh a certain amount, right? If I'm not mistaken, they're supposed to weigh a certain amount. Every weight class is supposed to have, 8 ounce, 10 ounce, 12 ounce, whatever. I don't know what the ounces is. But we do know that the padding in the glove can be manipulated, which is why I asked you, did you know about Nicholas Asbury? Because he was in the camp, and it's on video because there's no speculation. And he touched the gloves, and he says, basically, he was getting battered around the next day after being successful the day prior. Well, go look it up. And he says, "Yo, there's no fucking padding in these gloves." And he brought it to their attention. In Fury's camp, they didn't call him a liar. They apologized. And their explanation was, we was trying to give our guy confidence. Meanwhile, the brother's ribs is all broken up. So with this guy's track record with detached thumbs and gloves, I'm sure you know about that. And, the drug use, I'm sure you know about that. Martin Carefoot, he said he popped dirty because him and his cousin was eating pig dick. Sure, you know about that. Is it beyond the scope of reason for us to think that there was some foul play going on? Although you said you have nothing to do with it, is it beyond the scope of reason for us to think that this guy actually cheated? Your thoughts?
I would have to say everybody has their own opinion, so I can't sit here and say should it be without reasonable doubt, without what's the word, what's the phrase you use?
Beyond the scope of reason. You was an officer, yes?
Yep.
Okay. So I don't know how many people you've arrested, but when you arrive to a scene and you put that cold steel on someone's wrist, and let's say you notice, but you ever arrested the same person twice?
I don't know.
Okay, but you ever brought somebody in and ran their record, and then you find out, oh man, this guy has a rap sheet, and he's in there talking about, he or she is in there talking about, I didn't do it, I didn't do it, I didn't do it. Do you take in consideration that this person has a prior record? You have to. Yes?
Yeah, you got. I mean, if I look at his record and then I know he got a record, but he's already in the station. Yeah.
Okay. So do you do understand why we are thinking what we think?
I can understand why people think that. I can understand why people think a lot of things. That's not the only thing that was said. So I mean, I understand what people. I try to make myself understand what people are thinking, just to be fair. So I don't have just I don't just see it from my point of view. I try to take myself out and take myself out of myself and put myself in other people's shoes. So yeah, I can see where people may think certain things about that fight and other things, you know. So I guess if that's to answer your question, fair, yeah.
So you haven't looked at any of the you haven't rewatched the fight, you haven't looked at any of the conspiracy videos, you haven't looked at any of that, or you just stayed away from it?
I looked at it, and I'm listening to you talk now, and how you say you saw slapping and you saw. I wasn't looking for it. I'm not looking so detailed as you are and other people are. I'm not looking to say, oh, he slapped right there, he slapped right there, he did this, he did that. You know, I'm not looking at that close like that to dissect it because of people are saying certain things.
All right. So according to the rules of the commission, wrist shots are illegal. Rabbit punches are illegal. All right. There was a bunch of rabbit punches. There was a bunch of wrist shots. All right. You said you haven't gone back and looked at the fight. I'm just urging you, go back and look at it. And there's a reason why people are so enraged. And I was one of them. And can I be very honest with you right now, since we're talking? And I'm gonna say this. I don't even know how to say this respectfully. All right. As you can tell, I support Wilder. As you can tell. All right. And at first, I didn't have a problem with Fury. I didn't have a problem with you training him. But when I went back, all right, because I didn't want to hear it. After the second fight, I didn't want to hear it. I said, look, my guy lost. Congrats to the Gypsy King. I'm good. I ate it. 7 days. People were hitting me up. No, you got to see this. You got to see this. You got to. When I looked at it, I said, man, that's not right. And that's what made me go back to the first fight. And I said, shit, how did I miss that? And then that's when the case started building. So what I'm saying to you is people are not just shooting the shit right now. This is real things happening. And, you know, you're older than me. I ain't got to tell you to watch your association. But this is a shit show. That people aren't mad for no reason. This guy has a record. He has a record. Now, I don't know if you're paying attention or not, but I was so mad. You know what I said about you? You might not know, but I'm going to tell you. I said, God damn it. This sellout, man, I hope he dies in a fucking car fire. I said that. That's how angry I got. Because this shit is unfair, Suge. This is unfair. Now, whether you're being honest with us or not, I'll take you at your word. You haven't gone back to revisit it. You said you haven't watched it. Go back and watch it and tell me if you feel that it's normal. Wrist shots, brother. I've never seen, listen, You got some punches that came out that Kronk gym. I've never seen Tommy Hearns knock a dent in somebody's head. And he hit Roberto Duran dumb hard. I remember that, man. I'm only 45 years old. All right? You got some punches coming out of there. I've never seen your hardest hitters come out and knock a dent in someone's head. Suge, that's not normal. That's not normal. All right?
Yeah, so I was surprised when I saw the picture where I guess it was a dent, where they circled it and said it was a dent. I think it was when Deontay Wilder posted the video and he was like, "Look, there's a dent on my head." I was surprised. That was the first time I ever even saw or even heard about a dent being on the head like that. So yeah, that was something that was strange for me to see. I don't think I've seen that in boxing before. I've seen broken noses, swollen eyes, and I mean the whole side of it. I've seen all that stuff, but
sure, I've seen
nobody's head. So
I'm not to cut you off, but I've seen some injuries. Like I said, I've never been pro. I done fucked around with people in the Golden Gloves. I grew up in gyms. I've seen a lot of stuff. All right. I used to be at Roberto Clemente State Park. The big dog in there was Mitch Blood Green in the early 80s. I've seen him hurt people. I've seen him swole up eyes. I mean, hell, Mike Tyson bust his shit, his eyes swole up, but he didn't knock with a bare fist. He didn't knock a dent in a man's head with a glove with padding. It just don't happen. That's not, and you just said it's not normal. This is not normal. So all I could, like I said, you're a grown ass man. I can't tell you to watch your association, but this guy, all right, the detached thumb in that fight against Christian Hammer, I'm sure his trainers probably are like, yo, I ain't had nothing to do with that. I don't know what the fuck that is. The drugs, okay? He had a win, change to a no contest. This guy is a criminal. And to justify, and I'm not saying you, because you might be in the dark, to justify what this guy has done, because I firmly believe that he's a cheater. To justify what he's done, it doesn't make you a fan of the sport. It just makes people assholes. That's what it is. I wouldn't be on here if I didn't believe he cheated. I didn't want to hear about anything. All I know is that my dude lost, and I ate that. But then when you give me this evidence, it held weight. And then when you go back and look at his history, it cannot be ignored. It can't be ignored. I've done videos about it. I have a case. If I took him to court with all of this evidence, the judge would have no choice but to look at it and take it into consideration. Granted, his history. Now, you may not know it. You might have been like, okay, you just said he was rapping. He was rapping his hands. You had no idea what was going on with that camera. All right? You had no idea. But we're telling you, yo, he unplugged the camera. That's not normal. If you found out that Deontay Wilder unplugged his cameras and he knocked a dent in Fury's forehead and KO'd him in the third round, and you found that he unplugged the cameras, wouldn't you ask, yo, what's that about? Wouldn't you at least ask, what's that about? Because that's not normal. Suge, they waved goodbye to us and unplugged the camera. Do you know that?
No.
Yeah. Yes. So you're saying you don't know. They went just like this and unplugged the camera. That happened. I'm not lying. That really happened.
So when they unplugged the camera, so then that has something to do with me. So as I stated before, my normal routine was what it was. JD's was in there. He was right there. There's always a representative there. So he touched the pants, he touched the gloves, he touched everything. He was okay with everything. So something to do with that camera. Honestly, really, I don't even care about no camera. What that camera got to do with anything? The commissioner's there and JD is there. The camera's just a plus for the fans. And that's just to
Mauricio Suleiman also said he was in both rooms.
And entertaining to watch the guys inside the locker room and things like that. That got nothing to do with the fight. You got the committee, you got somebody from his camp there. His trainer is there. He's supposed to be who looks out for his well-being. His trainer was there. The same as I had a fighter. I had a representative from my team over there watching Wilder get his hands wrapped. If something was wrong, it should have been said then.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
something's wrong, it should have been
this
said
has
then.
nothing to do with no cameras. Somebody covering the camera don't mean nothing because you got the commission there still. That's just for the fans to see. It's part of entertainment.
I'm sure the commission was there when Margarito's hands got wrapped too.
And they pointed it out, didn't they? He got caught.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. You know who caught him? Brother Richardson caught him.
Bear Richardson. I mean, not Bear, but
the commissions have never caught someone
Nazeem
cheating. You know that?
Nazeem caught it. Nazeem Richardson.
Right, but the commissions never caught anyone cheating ever. You do know that, right?
So that's why you have a commission there, and you have somebody from your team there.
So wouldn't it make sense for the commission to have caught somebody? They've never caught anybody. Ever.
So
it's always
that's why it makes
the
more sense to have two people in there too. So if one person misses, the other one catches it.
All right, brother. But to even say that the commission is there, it's irrelevant because they never caught
So scratch that then. JD's was there.
And he missed it. JD's missed it.
He missed what?
Because JD said he didn't feel the gloves.
JD missed what though?
He didn't feel the gloves. I just told you. He didn't feel the gloves. He didn't check the gloves. And by the way, everyone wants to call Deontay crazy, but everyone's checking gloves now. Are you familiar with Oshaki Foster?
No.
Okay. They tried to cheat him. They caught his opponent's gloves. They switched the gloves. They got him in some right gloves, and Oshaki whooped his ass. But he tried to cheat him.
Okay, but regarding Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder 2 fight. That's it. Just regarding this fight. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, the other people, Shockey and stuff. I don't know nothing about that.
All right. Well,
I'm going on my experience.
All right. So you're going off your experience. So you're familiar with the term in concert, right?
In concert.
In concert.
Yep.
Legal to okay. So let me give you again. You're an older gentleman. You're an older man than me, and I ain't got to tell you much. But when shit hits the fan, everything you saying here in the barbershop, I'm saying in concert, you could say I didn't know about the camera, I didn't know about the gloves. But if you're in front of a judge, they'd be like, yo, no, you was there. So you're gonna get charged in concert if anything happens.
Nah, that would
how would you defend that?
That wouldn't be true.
It wouldn't?
That wouldn't be true. I can't. How am I gonna get charged with a camera? Somebody messing with a camera, something I didn't know.
I'm talking about
in gloves and hand wraps when everybody signed off on it, everything's okay.
All right, everyone signed off on it, but okay. Margarito's gloves got signed off, and I spoke to Kermit Cintron. He said, I know there was bricks in his shit. And it took about, let me see, Kermit Cintron twice, Golden Johnson, Cotto, and then Mosley and brother Richardson caught him. It took him about 4 fights to get caught, but he finally got caught. Finally. So what I'm saying is, what's in darkness always come to light. Now, you could say you don't know, and I'll take you at your word. You say you didn't know. But what I'm saying is that term in concert, that's something to think about, man. And if you really are in the dark about it, you need to do your research. Go back and look at the first fight. Go back and look at the second fight. Look at all the wrist shots. Look at all the rabbit punches. I know your term is to go in there and win. And for that aspect, you did your job. But go back and look at the Nicholas Asbury. He's been on multiple platforms talking about it. And Fury's camp they never called him a liar. They apologized to him. And that's all I'm going to say. Take it easy.
Take it easy.
Oh, you can't hear it. Yeah. I appreciate you coming in, man. We got you want to wrap this up, DB? Want to put a bow on this?
I'll put a bow on it. How y'all fellas doing?
Hey, yeah, man. You spent 2 hours and 22 minutes with us, man. 2 hours and 10 minutes. I didn't expect you to be here this long, man.
I did a lot of listening.
I'm grateful.
I did a lot of listening, so I ain't had to do a lot of talking. So.
Go ahead, DV.
I can't hear much of SugarHill, so I'll try my best. Excuse me if I ask the same question twice. I'm going to try to slow down so I can hear you, but it's a little bit of the distortion and the audio is a bit bad.